As we head into the holidays and spend time with our loved ones, it's always good to check on how they're really doing. Mental illnesses can be life-threatening, but some are harder to detect, including eating disorders. Nearly 30 million Americans will suffer from an eating disorder in their lifetime. KVUE's Natalie Haddad shares with us the story of one Austin woman's eating disorder experience and her recovery.
Just eat. If only it were that simple. How am I supposed to eat when I fear the number on the scale below me? How am I not supposed to be?
It's one of the deadliest mental illnesses in the United States.
My vitals started changing, my heart rate was getting low, my blood pressure was low.
Resulting in one death every 52 minutes.
The pandemic really opened our eyes to a lot of the things that we weren't ready to see or we weren't ready to talk about.
Our bodies don't determine their worth.
Eating disorders is one of those things.
And it's only gotten worse, with a 58% increase in cases between 2020 and 2021, and early 2022 data showing little to no improvement.
Being seen as a choice or as something that you can just change, I think that's something that is poorly understood. It's actually a psychological and physiological thing that has to be addressed from different aspects, both nutrition and psychotherapy.
It's like this voice in my head. It was just, you need to lose this weight, you need to exercise this much, you need to burn this many calories. And then whenever I did, it just never was enough.
What is an eating disorder in its entirety?
Diana Anzaldua is a licensed counselor and the founder of Austin Trauma Therapy Center in Austin.
In its simplest form is, behaviors and persistent thoughts and attitudes around eating, food, body weight, and body shape, right, size, and how that shows up for us.
Her caseload consists of clients with chronic illnesses and mental disorders, including eating disorders.
It might be, like obsessing about their body weight or their size, obsessing about calories, really having that anxiety and obsession about, oh, I can't eat this.
Studies show over the last 3 years, there has been a significant rise in eating disorder cases, specifically among teens and young adults. Common symptoms are listed as unusual weight fluctuation, self-imposed food restriction, and an increased irritability, fatigue, anxiousness, or depression. Diana says the studies are true, and 16-year-old Abby Christensen, a co-organizer of Austin's National Eating Disorder Awareness Walk, is proof.
I started seeing all this stuff online, like, oh, you have to become a better version of yourself through COVID. And the main way that they were talking about that was like changing your body.
According to studies, the climbing number of eating disorders are due in part to diet and exercise culture during a time places like gyms were shut down. The problem becoming so widely apparent during this time, even social media platforms like Instagram stepped in to create a more body-positive environment, offering users the option to block weight-related ads. Still, it wasn't enough to keep the then 14-year-old from becoming sick.
I was never really present in any moment because I was always thinking about food. I was always thinking about my body. I was thinking about what other people thought of my body.
Abby, who's active in school, marching band, and even karate, said the mental toll of having an eating disorder is great, but for her, the physical aspects
I was described as
were even greater.
Looking like I was dying. I lost the sparkle in my eyes. That was one of the huge things, was people were always like, you've lost the sparkle in your eyes.
Across the country, the yearly economic cost of eating disorders due to emergency room visits and inpatient hospitalizations is in the billions. The illness affects all genders, but women are 2 times more likely to have an eating disorder. And while it affects people of all races, studies show people of color with eating disorders are half as likely to be diagnosed or to receive treatment. Abby credits her doctor and friend for pushing her to get help she says she admittedly did not initially want.
I had to do it for myself or else I wasn't going to survive. It was going to be fatal if I didn't get the help I needed. I was there for about 7 weeks in the residential and inpatient program. Then I stepped down to partial hospitalization and then intensive outpatient, and then now I just have my regular appointments with my therapist.
Diana explains that eating disorders, while can be influenced by our surroundings, can also be brought on by past trauma.
We don't know other people's stories.
And even genetics.
What they've gone through, how trauma has impacted them and their family and the generations before them.
But Abby admits it was hard for her to want to let go of the behaviors that would keep her thin.
I wanted to keep on doing what I was doing.
Keep her sick.
Where when I was told I needed to go to the hospital the first few times, I just straight up said, no, I'm not going.
Was there ever a point where you weren't prepared to let go of these thoughts, these behaviors, and go into recovery?
Yes, and I'd honestly say I'm still kind of there. It's just your eating disorder convinces you that it makes you feel so good about yourself, which isn't true. But then whenever you go against what it says, it tells you, oh, you're gonna look like this and everyone's gonna hate you because of it, kind of thing. And I'm still realizing that that's not true.
What does a healthy relationship with food look like?
To be able to approach food from a mindful place and to not focus on outward appearance or how that food is going to affect their weight, but instead just how it's going to be beneficial to their body.
Annabelle and Diana agree. With a gentle approach and looking for warning signs, there is hope.
Can you recover from an eating disorder?
Definitely. I think with tools, both psychotherapy and nutrition, counseling, and other approaches, centered or holistic, can offer opportunities for healing and recovery for anyone suffering from an eating disorder.
Abby says it isn't just her who needs recovery from disordered eating. Society does.
My eating disorder obviously doesn't define who I am, but I'm trying to let the recovery aspect of it define who I become. I want to do anything I can to help other people. Yeah! I feel like almost everybody in society has engaged in disordered eating or thoughts around eating. Yeah! I feel like the point I'm at right now is making other people aware. I'm obviously still working on it myself, but it's what I want to do with my life.
In Austin, I'm Natalie Haddad.
Thank you, Natalie. Like she mentioned, if you know someone or if you are struggling with an eating disorder, there are resources that can make a difference. We have a link with some helpful information in this story at our website, kvue.com.